Hello, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's show. Well, today's kind of exciting. Today we finish Matthew chapter 14, and we're going to look at verses 34 through 36 in this 14th chapter of Matthew. So those verses again, Matthew chapter 14, verses 34 through 36 say, "And when they had crossed over, they came to land at Gennesaret. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent round to all that region and brought to him all that were sick, and begged him that they might only touch the fringe of his garment, and as many as touched it were made well." So obviously the word about who Jesus was is spreading. Word about him feeding the 5,000, etc. And so he comes to the land of Gennesaret, which is a very fertile land on the west side of the Sea of Galilee. Remember, Jesus was on the other side of the Sea of Galilee where he fed the 5,000. And so here, all the sick are coming to Jesus and just wanting to touch his garment to be healed. And so here we kind of have a similar situation, like I said, to the feeding of the 5,000, where people are coming to Jesus for what they can do, of what he can do for them. In the case of the 5,000, it was to feed them, give them a free meal. So they were following him around, trying to get more freebies, if you will. And here the sick are coming to touch the cloak of Jesus. No doubt they were sick, I'm not saying that at all. But were they coming to Jesus for the right reason? Or were they just coming to Jesus for what Jesus can do for them, for physical healing? Not seeing who Jesus really was and how he could heal their spirit, how he could heal their souls, which is the source of true healing. And it's kind of similar today to a lot of these. Sorry, I hate to call out a group of people on the show, but it's similar to those who teach the health and wealth gospel in many aspects. And say that you come to Jesus and you'll have all this money, you'll never be sick, etc., etc., etc. But when something bad happens, oh, you didn't have enough faith, all this. If we're coming to Jesus because for any other reason than who he is as the Messiah, as the Son of God, we're coming to him for the wrong reason. All those other things are afterthoughts. Yes, he can heal us, absolutely. Yes, he can take care of our needs, absolutely. But first and foremost, Jesus is here to heal our souls. Not to give us money, not to give us a Lamborghini, etc. So are we coming to Jesus in the right frame of mind and for the right reason? Are we coming to Jesus because he is who he says he is? Or are we coming to Jesus for what he can give us and kind of entering a kind of a business transaction? Because that's not the right way to do it. And so let's come to the cloak in verse 36 here. Jewish men wore tassels on the lower edges of their robes. And this was commanded to Jewish men in Deuteronomy 22:12. Now in Jesus' day, a lot of the Pharisees and the higher-ups in society wore these elaborate types of things because the longer the tassels were, it meant you were more holy, at least in their eyes. Now, we don't have any indication that the tassels that Jesus had were anything but typical. But it was kind of natural that people would seek healing should reach out and touch the edge of the cloak. It was just a common thing then. So this story is not out of the norm in the time frame that Jesus has. So again, just a couple takeaways. Are we coming to Jesus for who Jesus says he is? If we're not, let's re-examine it. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. God bless you. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great day.